There were times when I was doing stop smoking clinics where I would have groups, and my groups could be anywhere from 5 people all the way up to 50. And I had groups that I believe in the early days were close to 100 people. We had very large groups. There were times where I would have observers in these groups. Sometimes there were reporters coming in, sometimes they were students coming in wanting to understand how to help people to quit smoking. There were just over the years, there were many times where I had people coming in who were not smokers themselves, but were coming to witness what would happen in stop smoking clinics. And there were times where sometimes in the second or third day of a clinic, when you have a large number of people, many of which are having real withdrawal symptoms and real problems, and laying out, explaining what their days were like, when after everybody would leave and the person who was now observing the clinic would come up to me and say, "Why do you do this work? Look at what these people are like." Look, and they weren't saying just what they were like in withdrawal. They were saying like these were really miserable human beings. It was like, you're not doing society any favor by helping these people stay alive any longer, because he saw people or she saw people who were just in, terrible pain and complaining and miserable and saying how angry they were and saying the nasty things they did that day or thought that day. And the person was watching a group who was all basically in a drug withdrawal state and thinking that's who these people are as human beings. And you're not doing anybody any favor. You're not doing them any favor by helping them live longer, and you're not helping the world by helping these people live longer. If they would have just come back on the last day of the clinic and saw the same group, they would have been blown away, because the change that would happen with the individuals in the group, but then it would now translate to the group as a whole. You would see people who were happy, smiling. In the first days, you would hear people who were coughing and hacking. The whole group had this little rumble going through. People who were struggling to breathe. And this literally was visible in a group format. And on the last day of the clinic, all of a sudden, these people are looking healthier. Their skin is looking better. They're calmer. They're happy. They're celebrating. The last day was almost like a party atmosphere, because I had a graduation, and that I opened up to family and friends, and it was a much larger group than what the initial group was because of the additional people there, but you would see these same people and you would swear it was a totally different group, that these could not have been the same individuals. Don't judge what people are like. And the reason I bring this up is I'm seeing now people on YouTube kind of doing videos, sharing their experiences of what they're going through those first few days. And if you look at them in those early days of the quit, they can look and sound horrible. And you could think like there's no way they should pull this off. Not that they could pull it off, but because of how miserable everything seems to be. But if you just give them a little bit of time and see what they look like, you're going to realize, man, they really have gotten themselves into a much better way of life. Healthier way of life, calmer way of life, less expensive way of life. There's just so many perks of being a former smoker compared to what it was when they were actually smoking. And all you got to do to keep those perks, if you're one of these people who are quitting, all you got to do to become this better version of yourself is finally now just stick to a personal commitment to never take another puff